Now this isn't my normal YouTube style of video, but I thought I'd help a few people out. This is like a how-to. My car, which is behind me, is a VY V6 Commodore. I think the VT, the VS, the VT, the VX and the VY, when they came out in the manual, they came out in a 5-speed get-rag gearbox. Now, a lot of people have the issue of the things not going into gear, like myself. The thing would, you'd go from first to second, it would grind second, every morning grind second, then third, it would be fine, then fourth. But last night it started doing grinding second when it was warm, gearing down. So what I decided to do was I decided to get under there and have a look at the shifter linkage. I shook the shifter linkage and it then surprisingly changed what gear it was hard to get into. So it moved from second gear to third gear. So it made me think, what could actually be causing the problem? And I've actually found the problem, and I found a solution as well. So I'll take you under the car. We're now under the car, and you're probably by this point thinking your shifter looks a little bit different to mine. Well, that's because I've actually got a billet shifter. But it still comes down and meets at the same point as the standard shifter, it's just a little bit different underneath. So what I've done here is, right there, right at the tip of my finger, is I've gone to Bunnings, or a local hardware store, and I've put a washer in there. It is, I'll show you the packet shortly, but I've put a washer in there, and I've packed it out so it's nice and tight. I've done the same down here, down the other end as well. As you can see, that nice fresh washer on the shifter linkage, and that has actually solved the problem, because what it was doing was they get a lot of play in these bushes under here, and they're overlooked fairly regularly. They tend to wear out, and mine had actually had someone had tried to do something with it before, I dare say it, and actually wore through a washer or something along those lines and actually snapped it in half, to the point it looked like a spring washer. So that's what they actually do. They wear these bushes out, and a lot of people turn around and say your gearbox is stuffed, when it's actually not the case. It's just the shifter linkage itself is worn out. Because there's actually bushes in there. In the standard kits, there's bushes in that loop there to the base of the shifter. Because I've got a billet shifter, it's all billet aluminum, so you don't actually need to put the bush or anything in that. And then down the other end, it's also got the brace above it. As you can see, that brace runs from here all the way down there. That brace isn't really an issue. It's the actual lower one. It's this lower hole there that runs into there. So I'll get out from under the car and I'll show you the washers on which I brought to fix the problem. These are the washers I brought to solve the problem. They're an M10 size washer. Initially I thought they were 3/8, but I got the 316 grade stainless steel. I wanted something that wouldn't wear out as quick, and I wanted them tough. I wanted them really tough. So they're reasonable thick. That just slides onto the shifter linkage, and they're tough. I wanted like a real tough grade of metal. You may be able to find tougher ones. So there's no forums, there's no websites or anything that help you out with this. All of them say your gearbox is stuffed, which I didn't think that was the case. My gearbox may be worn, but this was a shifter problem. As soon as I touched that shifter linkage underneath and it actually moved, it had a heap of play. Like, you literally grab it and you could move it 2 inches side to side. And this is the one that's snapped in half. And no, I haven't done this modification or anything before. That, my friends, is what was actually in there. So it does look like a spring washer. Well, you put it next to a spring washer, it looks like one, but it's actually not a spring washer. As you can tell with autofocus, you can see where it's been grinding and carrying on. Actually, it looks like it's been ground down by an angle grinder, but it hasn't. That's just it trying to go in gear all the time. And it's just literally snapped Excuse my hands, I know they're filthy, but being under here, the car's not clean, so it's actually snapped it just straight through. So that's my problem. Hope this video helps you out, guys. I go like a shark with blood in the water. I feel like a great white shark, and when I have a nice ass meal, I'm convinced my eyes roll back, because it's just like teeth get out, gnaw into this meal. Unless it's a 120 nugget challenge, in which I do a shark frenzy for about 20, and then the rest of them are like razor blades.